So The Murders in Great Diddling, it begins with our author, Berit Gardner, she's Swedish English, and she has just moved into this small Cornish village. And she has moved there in a desperate hunt for stories, because she used to live in London and she used to write books. And for the first time in her life, she's suffering writer's block. So for the first time in her life, all those stories inside her head had suddenly gone quiet. There's been constant chatter, 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 and then silence. And this worries her a lot. So she sees this ad for a cottage that's for sale. And she immediately realizes that there are stories here. In the very name, Great Diddling, Wisteria Cottage, Albert Lane. And she's not wrong. She gets there and she can feel them, these stories and this magic in the air. But unfortunately, that's not the only thing that's glowing in the air, because she also attends a rather explosive tea party when things sort of start with a bang. First of all, I want to make sure that no viewers are worried. It was a sort of more office library, so no important books were harmed in the explosion. But it takes place in a tea party that's gathered sort of all the people in this village. And they are united in their hatred for one man, Reginald Trent, the hostess' nephew. So we have, of course, we have the mansion, Tony Hall, and the sort of the important family in the village. And the nephew is the sort of he's grew up in London. He's attended all the fine schools. He just comes back to his small town to make a nuisance of himself and threaten businesses. And he's desperate for money. He's going to inherit the house from Daphne Trent eventually, but he needs it now. And for that end, also tries to evict the local businesses and makes a nuisance of himself. So there are a lot of people who has a reason to dislike Reginald Trent. And Berit Gardner finds herself sort of caught up in this mystery. And of course, being a writer, she's naturally nosy. And so she eavesdrop and start to try to untangle the village gossips and all the sort of undercurrents that she can feel in order to help the police solve this crime. Great Diddling is not one of those Cornish villages that manage to attract tourists. It's not by the sea, it's not pretty, but that's not saying that they're not trying to attract tourists. They do their best, and usually by lying. So they make things up every summer. So for one time, they try to attract bird watchers by lying about a rare bird being sighted there. Or they try to attract fans of history by lying about Winston Churchill having been there, and so forth. And when a murder takes place, naturally, they think this we can use. Because, I mean, everyone loves small English villages, and murder and books. I think it's a global phenomenon from Agatha Christie and so on. So they create this murder and books festival to try to use the murder to bring tourists to their village, and they succeed. People do come there. That was incredibly fun to write. One of the things they do to get people to come is, of course, lie about what authors are going to be there, and then sort of try to teach the villager themselves to play those authors. And I had so much fun deciding what authors to use. And I used many of my favorites, of course, and trying to portray them on books.